Happy Monday. How is it going? I'm trying to get Coco to come up. Come on up. All right, my team is complete. I've got Harley here. I got Coco there. And I got a really great topic for you guys this morning, or this afternoon rather, depending on which time zone you're in. So I'm Julie, Balanced Life with Julie. I'm a health coach and nutritionist. Every Monday, I like to come on and do something I like to call Mindset Monday, also known as Motivational Monday. I have one more sweet soul wanting to say hi. This is Shanti. We call her the original bear because she was the first puppy we had. So actually today I have a really, really fun topic, and it's kind of based on my previous post, which went something like this. You should give a fuck. You really should, but only about things that set your soul on fire. Save your fucks for magical shit. And I shared that because I was speaking to a friend of mine in the UK, and she's been having a bit of a time with her job. I'm not going to name names, of course. And, you know, she cares so much. She cares so much about doing well and doing her job right and all of that. And that's very admirable. But unfortunately, she's stuck doing the corporate thing, which, and I should say you're never stuck, right? Because you can decide at any point in time to completely change your life. And so that's why I posted that, because once upon a long ago, I was like her too. I had a corporate job. I had a retirement plan. Like, whoa, what are those? And then even for the longest time when I used to teach yoga, I taught yoga at a bunch of different studios. I never really enjoyed the experience in terms of, hey, I've got a really special friend, Black Airbender. Would you come and say hi? I know it's going to be a bit of a sidetrack on my video, but I don't care, because, you know, let's see if I can invite you. I don't know if I can. Let's see. I'm not sure how I can get you to, maybe like that. You can just say hi. You can just say hello to people. And I have talked to you about you to a few different people. And I think they might want to know what you do. Just saying. But we'll see. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I worked for studios for a while, and I just never really enjoyed the experience in terms of working with some of the management. And I gave such a fuck about all of it. Oh, hey!
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm good.
So I have been telling my friends about you, and they're like, what? Like, he's what? And so anyway, tell the good people what you do. So, and I'm going to tag my friends on the video so they can watch it. What do you do?
Okay, so I'm an alchemy breathwork coach. I'm the pioneer of alchemy breathwork, where you only utilize the nose. It's breathing exercises that can also be utilized in everyday life, at the office, at the gym, with kids, you name it. It accompanies all walks of life.
Yeah. And so we did a session. I do my breath work. I miss one day a week. I'll be honest. One day a week I miss, but I do it every single day. I make sure that I get it in the morning. It's part of my morning routine. So you'll be proud of me. But you're also what's known as a breatharian, right?
What they call breatharian, yeah.
Breatharian, okay. And what is that exactly? Or who is that, I should say?
It's a person who eats quote unquote little or nothing at all. So keyword little or nothing at all. And I personally have been on liquids for about a year and a half now. And even before that, I was 80% liquids.
And how do you feel?
Oh, I feel amazing. I require less sleep than people. Even with me, I intensified working out more and I still require less sleep. So that's an interesting thing that I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm. And this is all to say, like, when we're eating a lot of food, it tends to actually slow us down.
Oh, big time, because
Yeah,
the body has
digest
to
all of it.
digest all of it.
Yeah, and I'm I don't eat a lot of food. I probably don't eat as much food as most people do. Um, but yeah, I tend to eat less and less. And I was telling some friends of mine at dinner how you just live on liquids and coconut water, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, literally 90% coconot water. I love
Yeah,
living
so
in Florida.
it's
That's really
not
easy to
shots of
get.
tequila. It's like literally coconut water. Because some people hear liquids and they have a different idea in their head of what
Oh,
liquids mean.
yeah.
So just to be clear, and they were like, what? Like, how does he do that? I'm like, here you are. And I showed them your Instagram and they're like, what? That I'm like, seriously, the guy's healthy. So yeah. So what brought you to that since I have you here?
What brought me to that was being open to giving up ignorance in my life, if you will. And I met another breatharian. He's a Bigu master, which is quote unquote the Chinese version of breatharianism in America. And I spent a couple months under him, but even before my first breathwork session, he had me fast on liquids for 2 weeks, and then we finally had our first session. I was crying, letting lots of emotions out, and from there, it just left a huge impact on me in terms of how far I can go as a person, as a being, as a human being, and how can I affect others in a positive light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And how long have you been doing breath work?
It's been 6 years coaching it, 2.5 years now.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, like before I went into the health coaching nutritionist world, I taught yoga for a long time. So I've been around breath work, but a very different kind of breath work. And when I came back from India, I was trying to teach breath work to my students. This was when I used to live in Vancouver and teach. And it's interesting, like there weren't a lot of people that were open to it. So I ended up kind of letting it go out of my teaching. And I always find that the good ideas and the good practices kind of come full circle. So here we are like years later, and I'm kind of like, I mean, I've always meditated, like not always, like I've been meditating now for 13 years. And so it's interesting because those kinds of practices naturally kind of get into breath work and paying attention to breath and how the breath manifests and looking at, you know, even for myself, like where my breath, like how am I holding my breath and where am I not utilizing it? Although I have to say this, the breath work you suggested for exercise, like I haven't mastered it yet. Like I try. Most of my workouts, I'm just trying to survive. And I'll be like mid rep going, how does he get people to do that other breath work? Because I'm like, I'm just trying to get through this set.
Maybe if we have another session, we can dive in deep and we can literally pick in parts. Because I even make, like, I remember making like a custom breath work for this Olympic athlete that skates. So that was really interesting. And you know, she told me some of her techniques that she wouldn't really tell people. And you know, everyone is really different. They really are.
And I love what you said about letting go of ignorance, because I talk to so many people and they're so attached to what they do and how they do it. And somebody told them and they're following this teacher, but they've never really explored. And so sometimes when I share something that is a little bit outside of their way of thinking, they're like, well, maybe that works for you. But I'm like, you haven't even tried it. Like, how do you know it doesn't work for you? And it's like that keeping an open mind and being like just being willing to explore, I think is such a powerful way to move in the world. And even for myself, I kind of am always looking at like, where are my blocks? Where am I stuck? Where am I not going deep enough? And so it's just interesting. The breath is really, really interesting. Like I have some pretty visions. Would you call them visions? I have some interesting visions.
Yeah, insights, if you will, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's usually at the end of meditation. So I'm already kind of like in a different, headspace at that point. So things just kind of have a opportunity to drop in.
Oh, downloads. There we go.
Downloads. Yes. I like that word. They are downloads. Yes.
They're literally downloads because when you connect to the receiver that is connecting with all parts of our body, the easier it is for that receiver to obtain, quote unquote, higher consciousness, if you will. And it's like a magnet at that point.
Yeah. So how do you think people can begin to let go of their ignorance?
Oh.
Maybe a deep question for a Monday, and totally not where I was going with this video today. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, obviously the breath, but it really starts with also acceptance. I think acceptance that you manifested everything in your life from the day you were born, just literally accepting that. And that also ties into maybe your quote unquote past life. The past life is definitely there, because if we're asleep and we're breathing, and then we're breathing in our dreams, it goes to say that there are definitely different dimensions of reality that we are quote unquote connected to via breath. And that's just the key in plain sight, if you will. And the more we accept that, the easier it is to then drag everything that is connected to this one point and steer the ship into a better direction, or the direction you have intent in sailing towards.
Sorry, I got like a crank call from Thailand. You know how your phone number just ends up on weird places?
Yeah, how that happens.
Yeah. So you're in Florida right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
What part?
Miami.
Cool. How's the weather? Don't rub it in. I'm in Canada.
Always nice. Always nice. I've actually lived in Cali. That was the start of my journey, actually. So I lived over there. I started out in Lake Tahoe, and then I noticed it was cold, and then I made my way down to LA, and then settled in more so Costa Mesa, Huntington Beach over there a couple of years ago.
And now you're in Florida.
Now I'm in Florida, yes.
Nice. Yeah. It's we do have to do another session, because I'm like doing my breath work and going, okay, there's more, and I'm sure that there are probably things I could improve upon.
Yeah, and we can literally integrate in terms of what you were saying with working out. So we can literally nitpick different things and find out what works for you.
Nice. Cool. Well, this was nice.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Do you want to talk about anything?
Nothing comes to mind. I didn't expect to go live today at all.
You must have like heard my thought, because either yesterday or the day before, I was like, oh, I should find out what he's up to. And then boom, there you are.
Yeah, I go live almost every other day, and I just have random people come on. So you're more than welcome. We can set up one if you like, and have a specific topic you want to talk about.
For sure, we can definitely do that. Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, it is Mindset Monday, and usually I pull two cards on this day for people. Oh, but
Oh,
actually, maybe you can weigh in because what I did was I posted yesterday, I posted before I went to bed, I posted this thing. You should give a fuck. You really should, but only about the things that set your soul on fire. Save your fucks for magical shit.
ooh, I like
And
that
I
one.
was talking about how I used to work in the yoga studio system and I love teaching people, but I didn't enjoy the management or the owners. And I
Mm,
cared so much. Like I wanted to do a good job. I wanted people to have a great experience, but I wasn't valued as a part of that system. I was very expendable.
mm,
And owners would always kind of let it be known that I was expendable. And so what ended up happening was I quit the studio system. I ended up starting my own business. I do my own thing. And very much like you, I work with who I want to work with. I'm partnered with some really amazing people and I love my job. I love being able to help people. It's very, very gratifying. And that post really came about because I spoke with a friend of mine in the UK who literally had a breakdown at work because she was working 80
mm.
hours a week and not valued and not like appreciated for what she does. So, you know, what can you say about saving your fucks for magical shit?
I like that. I really like that. Hmm.
Because
It's
like so many people don't, right? Like they care so much and maybe they're working some job and they're committed, but it's not like lighting them up the way following their heart might be, or they're doing it just for the paycheck.
mm,
And I think like that's such a trap. And so many people are in that wheelhouse and trapped and not living the life they could be living.
mm. It all starts with purpose as well too, um,
Mm-hmm.
and giving purpose and feeding purpose in a continuous manner where uh, your actions have more energy, will feed more energy into your purpose. And if it's just the about the paper in terms of a paycheck, then it's it needs, I don't say, I want to say, that's going to be your limit right there. Your purpose
Mm-hmm.
needs to be something even bigger than you. And when it's bigger than you, it's way bigger than the paycheck. And that gives you more insight into giving energy towards things that go beyond just the paycheck, that go beyond impressing people, that goes beyond um, getting the boss to think of you a certain way or whatever it is. And it's more so literally looking at your purpose as an entity itself and saying, oh, okay, you don't really care about if this person thinks like that. You care about the people who that wants to be drawn into the quote unquote purpose, the entity that is that you're creating or you're helping to create. And it's just gonna drive you towards giving less energy. Energy, like I said, what you do frequently is your frequency, and the more frequent energy you give towards things that don't value what you do, you need to shift it. You really need to shift where you're giving that energy to, because if you don't, sooner or later you're just going to get drained, and then you're just going to lose motivation towards your quote unquote higher purpose, and there's going to be no room.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It is really about finding and connecting with your purpose because once you have that, then the outside stuff doesn't matter as much, right? Like what people think of you, or getting certain, I don't know, accolades or material possessions or all of these things, it matters less, because what's driving you is much bigger, right? It's a much bigger thing. Like, I know for myself, like, I got up in the morning and my purpose is much bigger. And so I don't have like the mental bandwidth to give energy to certain things, because that's not the frequency I'm on. I'm on a very, very different idea. So someone asked, can I ask you guys what you think about God, religion, spirituality? It's a big question for a Monday.
God, religion, spirituality. Well,
Wow.
God, I think we all in ourselves have
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like for me, um, when I think about spirituality or connect with spirituality, I think of it more as sort of the natural world around me and connecting with that spirit. And I remember one time, this was actually the very first time I do like these 10-day silent meditation things. They call it Vipassana. It's been
mhm,
around for years. And when I did my very first one, I remembered like just being in a field and suddenly who I am, like my name, my job title, my possessions, my worldly possessions, all of the ego attachments I had fell away. And I just felt this connection to everything, that oneness that people like spiritual leaders will talk about, or spiritual writers will talk about. I actually felt that. And it is a feeling energy that there aren't even adequate words that can point in that direction. But when you're in it, you're in it. And that's really also part of the reason why meditation and breath work are so powerful, because it allows the ego manifestations and the ego creations to fall away. And then when you're in that place, there is no getting or having or
mm,
striving. You just are, and it just is. It's actually really, really beautiful, and no one can tell you how to get there. Silence is one of the best ways to actually cultivate it. Silence is also something that most people are very afraid of. And I think like what I've noticed, because I'm always like a lot about daily spiritual practice and making sure that my spiritual practices are part of my life. It's not something that I do once in a while.
mhm,
And I think like the fear and the stuff that was coming up from people was just that the busyness of life had to stop. A lot of the things that they were used to have, like imagine if we didn't have the internet, like it would have been crazy town. Like if there was no Netflix, no internet, it would have been insanity. But what I think was coming up from people was just that there was more silence and more space in their life. Not for everybody, but I think for a lot of people, that's what was coming up. And it was triggering things, and that's very normal. Like I can tell you from going into multiple rounds of 10 days of silence, it's like it is very challenging to meet yourself, like in that space, your own ego, your own attachments, your own fears and doubts, and The ugly stuff always comes up first, I find, and then it goes away. If you give it enough time, it just goes.
The thing I like about the
Yeah. Vipassana.
it just has a huge uh,
Yeah, always with the nose.
powerful shift. Yeah, it has a huge powerful shift, and you're literally paying more attention to the breath in that aspect as well, and a deeper part of you, like we were saying with space, that is literally, you're literally staring at it right in the face as the days go by.
I mean, I've done 10-day silence retreats with everything that's going on. I have one more sort of requirement before I qualify for 20 days. There's all these hoops you got to jump through in
Oh
order to
wow.
get to the, yeah, so you can't just go and do a 20-day sit. So there's 20-day sits, 30-day sits, 45 days, 90 days, but in between there's qualifications. So, but for those who don't know, in Vipassana, there's no reading, there's no writing, there's no eye contact, there's no talking, there are no cell phones, there's no Instagram. You are just with yourself, facing yourself. And the practice itself is really about focusing in on the breath. Every time you notice your mind has gone away, you have to come back to the breath. So it is very, very focused on the breath. And I think it's a really, really powerful practice. It's not necessarily for everybody going to do 10 days of silence, but it's definitely eye-opening for sure. And if you don't know what your purpose is, like for sure, clearing away all of that mental garbage helps to connect to whatever your purpose is. Because a lot of it is we're letting the outside world tell us who we should be, when it should be inversed. We should just connect within and then express. I don't
Someone
know where I was
said,
going with that. Pardon?
no, someone said something. I agree. I've always felt very awake. Where this culture, this made me realize. Okay. Oh, I thought that was a question.
No, it's a comment. Like I think it's she or he, I can't tell. How much time he spends on little things that don't have any real meaning yet to your higher purpose. Yeah, it's important to notice that, right? To check in. So yeah, I would say for anybody who comes across this video, like, are you connected to your higher purpose? Or do you even know what it is? And then to, like, if you don't know what it is to spend some time and try to find out what it is, what sets your soul on fire. So Mondays, I always like to draw 2 cards for Mindset Mondays. It can be used as sort of like a theme of the week. This is just some little woo. I do a lot of woo stuff, and this is some of the woo stuff I do.
But seriously, what's
one.
normal? What's normal these days?
Normal's boring. I am the dreamer of my dream.
Ooh.
So I think this is a good one because we're talking about purpose, right? Mm-hmm. You are the dreamer of your own dream. So you can decide, you can choose, you can create. It's what makes it fun. And then I draw a second one. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Okay. The cards are always really, really interesting. Okay. Okay, you're going to love this. Each time I choose to tune into spirit, Guidance of the highest truth shows up for me.
Breath. There it is.
Boom. I think we just like proved our point there.
Big time.
Yeah. So I use these cards, like I pull them on Mondays, and usually I tell everyone who watches the video, like, to kind of, if your mind gets like really noisy and loud and all over the place, like frenetic, come back to the cards and just use that to basically go inward. So I am the dreamer of my dream. Each time I choose to tune into spirit, guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. And it is a choice. Everything is a choice. Everything we react to in our world, it's a choice to react or not react. And if you are somebody who reacts to everything, maybe choose not to react. And this is something that I'm also like giving a lot of thought to myself these days. The things that I react to a certain way all the time. I'm like, okay, is there a way that I could not react to that? Is there a way I can just let it be? Right? And it's that ego part of us that's like, no, this is right. This is the thing. But what if you just don't react? What if you just let it be?
Let it be.
Let it be.
Let it be, and
Wasn't
let it
that a
have.
Beatles song?
Let it be. Oh yeah, Beatles songs. Yeah, let it be.
Yeah.
You know, when you let it be, quote unquote, you let it have full expression to a certain point, and it literally just somewhat will speak for itself at a certain point, and then gives you an opening. Okay, then now you can give in your 2 cents or share your opinion.
The other practice that I have, or a practice that I have, is if I feel emotionally charged by something, I let it be and I don't say anything until there's no emotional charge. If I can come from like a place of asking questions or having compassion. It's a hard practice because so many things can be triggering, but
Yeah.
if you can kind of give it that, I kind of think of it as giving it some breath, right? Giving it some space.
Yeah.
So there's less reactivity. Cool.
I had a meditation that really helped me, because one of my pet peeves years ago would be someone chewing with their mouth open. That'd be one of my pet peeves. And one of the meditations that really got me into just letting it be, quote unquote, was either during summertime, I would just stand out and just be still. Sweat would come. I would not wipe away one sweat, not scratch for like 2 hours. And lots of emotions come out doing that, just being still. Or you can also do this whenever it rains and just be still for an hour outside in the rain, hit every random drop on you, because life is shooting at you different random stress factors 24/7, 365 a day. And when you learn how to find the center when all of this is going on, the easier it is to navigate. And that's one of those 2 practices, including the breath work, of course, really helped me get over, because I have a partner that eats and I don't eat. So I can only imagine if I didn't do that years ago, how I would be reactive to her now. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have, with your practice, like, are you just going to plan to continue this way on liquids, or are you just kind of open to be like, okay, I don't know, whenever, like maybe one day I'll.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm open to it. Maybe one day. Yeah, but you know, it's been 20 plus years of chewing a lot. I think I'm at the point where I'm just over it, because the breath work itself has got me to that point. And it really going 100% was me just trying to stop fighting with myself, because every time I ate, I could feel the density of it.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, I'm tired of just fighting. I'm tired of fighting.
Yeah.
So I just gave in.
Cool. Well, this was really amazing.
Yeah, this was good. I like how we just naturally went into it.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I'll have to, I got to talk to Michael. I don't know if he wants to do another session, but I know I do. So I'll hit you up and we'll have another breath session.
All right, sounds
Oh,
good. Tell him I said hi.
I will for sure. Okay.
All
Enjoy
right,
your day.
peace. You too.
Peace. Thanks.
Grand Rising Devon, what's up, my brother? I just wanted to give you a little testimonial. I was skateboarding the other day, really huffing and puffing, and I stopped and did your alchemy breath that you taught the Awakening Champions group, and instantaneously I was recuperated and ready to go some more. Quite amazing, bro. Good work. Sending lots of love. Let's connect sometime soon. Peace.